Sure. Well, today, nowhere. But
Yeah.
in general, I am in Philadelphia. I'm in the first suburb just outside of Philadelphia. I'm in Montgomery County, which is considered ground zero in the Pennsylvania area for coronavirus. We have more cases in my county currently than anywhere else in the state.
Yeah, that's
a great thing to be number one in. Just to back up a little bit, many of you have had the privilege of seeing Beth Samberg speak in our Market Center over the last couple of years, and we're looking forward to you coming back to our Market Center live. I mean, now may be a good time to come down to Georgia.
No,
Not getting on a plane.
You're not allowed to come right now. I love you.
So we're super excited that you're here with us today and sharing your experiences.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So really, I sent you some different messages or some different things. Like, what would you say? Because we always like to say there's lessons. And as I said when we first started talking, when we were off screen, that you know the blessing that we have in here in Woodstock, Georgia, is that we're not the first ones to walk through it, and that there's lessons that we can learn from you, because the truth is the hardest part I think people are having right now is just dealing with uncertainty. And in my world, I believe as real estate agents, our role is to always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And as far as our industry is concerned, you're walking probably the worst case scenario of a complete shutdown ordered by a governor that's actually shutting down real estate activities specifically. We're not, we haven't, you know, California did not do that. I don't know if New York is actually doing that. Did they?
New York just did it today.
Okay, and real estate activities as well?
About an hour ago. They said no non-essential people will be allowed into the city and you won't be able to show apartments or homes anymore.
Okay. So tell us a little bit exactly what is happening in your area.
All right, well, let me go back and then I can go forward.
Okay.
So today's Friday. So a week and a day ago, last Thursday, it was business as usual. Everything was fine. Corona, we were hearing more and more and more about it, but we were still kind of going on the usual. And then the schools here closed starting the next day, Friday, and said we'll be closed for a minimum of 2 weeks. I think everybody was real optimistic. I don't think my kids personally are going back to school till September, to be honest with you. That's where I'm at. So we kind of now are, 8 days into this. We're not in shelter in place, which California and it sounds like now New York are. We are very much they have shut all restaurants. They're only open for takeout or delivery. As of 8 o'clock last night, all non-essential businesses have been closed, so nobody's allowed to go into offices unless you are a grocery store, a gas station, a healthcare professional, or a beer distributor. So, everybody defines essential differently. So,
good enough.
So as of 8 o'clock last night, the governor did announce that there will be no more real estate activities. Pennsylvania is a title state, and we depend on our title clerks who are notaries. Pennsylvania does not have e-notaries. You have to do notaries in person. So it starts at 8 o'clock tonight. They announced it last night. So any closings today will occur, but going forward, we don't really know what's going to happen with our pendings. We know that business will mostly stop as we've normally done business with showing homes. Being a primary home market, not a secondary home market, our showings are almost 100% exclusively in person. We don't have people buying, online or sight unseen. So any showings have stopped. So throughout the week, we as a team have made some tough decisions. I have taken all of my occupied listings off the market. And at a certain point, I said I would no longer show homes unless they were vacant. I'm not even showing home. Even before the governor said that, a couple of days ago, we decided we weren't even showing vacant homes any longer. So we're kind of at a place of unknown also. We're kind of waiting for things to roll out. Our Pennsylvania Association of Realtors just released a COVID-19 addendum to be added to all of our contracts that may go under contract over the next period of time, stating that delays are allowed for up to 30 days based on government shutdowns, anybody being affected by the disease, by the virus, things like that. So we're just slowly keeping everybody inside. People are still outside walking. Like I live near a trail, so we see a lot of people outside. I haven't seen people in groups. They have closed playgrounds because none of the equipment's being sanitized. So for our kids, they can go to a field. Like I've told my boys, they can go and they can play with the baseball and the bat themselves. They cannot play with friends and they can't touch anything that's there. So that's kind of where we're at here.
Okay. Yeah, we're experiencing some of the similar things. We've have the same addendum that's been being added to our contracts, and people are becoming creative on the way that they show property, doing a lot of video showings. We're still taking a lot of listings.
Yeah, crazy.
Some with, and they're going under contract almost immediately when they hit the market because we still have a shortage. And sometimes all by video.
Yep. So what I would tell your agents, any of your agents who have things on the market currently, or even if they have stuff that's not on the market but they know is coming up, I would say today or tomorrow, get in those properties, take tons of pictures, do video tours. If you don't have a Matterport or some sort of camera that can do it, just do it with your phone. Do a real walkthrough, get some sort of floor plan. I don't care if you sketch it on a napkin, get something, because if you intend to market your properties electronically and you're hoping for sight unseen visits, which is where we're all headed to, make sure you have all of that in line before your governor announces that you're closing, not after. Because everybody's kind of doing a scramble right now.
Okay. So yeah, we talked about that. We talked about doing virtual open houses, making sure we do Matterport, and there's different 3D versions for your listings so that we can limit the need for the private showings. Tell me how you're preparing your buyers. So one of the things that I see, Beth, is that this is a similar environment, if not even a little bit more extreme than the 9/11, where everything kind of shut down for a period of time and then it came back. Yeah. How are you working to keep your buyers in the market so that they don't walk? How are you keeping the transactions together that are going to be delayed for 2 to 3 weeks? What would you?
I think you're more of you're a much bigger optimist than I am.
I am.
I'm over communicating even when I have nothing to say. So all of my pendings are getting a call every single day. I'm giving them the updates that I have. Some of it they already know, but I'm giving it from a real estate perspective. And I'm just saying, I'll keep you posted. As things progress, I'll keep you posted. A protocol isn't in place yet. A protocol will be in place. It's coming. So anything next week, I've told them just to expect delays, and nobody's moving. The movers now can't work either. They're not essential. So nobody's going to end up on the streets. Nobody's going to end up homeless. They've put a stay on evictions. They've put a stay on foreclosures. So just as the protocol runs out, kind of rolls out, they know they're going to hear from me. They're not sitting around waiting. They know they're going to get a call from me every single day. Even if I call and I just say, hey, I'm just checking in to see how you're doing. How is it being home with the kids? I've got nothing new to tell you, but I'm paying attention. And that's what I'm doing, is just calling them and just over communicating. Even if there's nothing to say, it's just, I'm here. I haven't disappeared. The world hasn't dropped on us yet. The sky is falling, and when it does, we'll know how to catch it because we're preparing for it.
Right.
So, and what I'm also doing is I'm taking this time to reach out to all of my past clients. And again, the script is, hey, haven't spoken to you in a while, just wanted to call and see how you're doing. Like clients who I closed a house for them in December and I haven't spoken to them since we closed. I called him the other day and I said, aren't you glad we bought the big house? It's real nice room to stretch out in, right? So that's what I'm doing, is I'm calling everybody, all the stuff we should have done even before this. I'm now finally doing it because you have a real reason to call. I'm just calling to check in. And then to kind of build my pipeline so that I'm ready when this passes, I'm in a lot of community groups, Facebook groups. I'm in a single moms group locally, things like that. I've set up a Zoom room and I set up a meeting every day that everybody can just jump in on. I'm meeting a ton of new people that way. They're meeting each other. And I'm just providing a space for community. So just continually trying to build that, even when we are 6 feet apart with walls and distances between us, just everybody needs something different. You've got the introverts who thought this was great to begin with and are now, even them are a little bit jumpy. And you've got the extroverts who are just, are on every single day because they need the human interaction. And so I'm learning a lot about people I never would have learned otherwise. I know I've met new people. I've seen their kids in the background. We're sharing lesson plans. There's a lot of wine drinking that goes on during those, and some of them are 10 in the morning, but just every day I'm trying to do it at a different time. There's no judgment. There's no judgment. But every day I'm just trying to do it at a different time so that everybody's schedule can kind of be attended to.
Right. Stephanie, do you have any?
Well, I was just going to say, what I'm thinking is going to happen is that we're going to have a really quick recovery from this. And that during this pent up time, people are going to experience that they want to be in a space that they really want to be in. And that for the people who've been settling for a long time, they're not going to want to settle anymore.
Yeah, anybody who's in a small home is going to be real ready for a big.
Yes. And, we were already in a seller's market. We had a small amount of inventory. And we're going to have that really pent up demand when we come out of this. And I think it's going to be very fast and furious. And I'm really hoping that people will take advantage of a little bit of a lull to think, because it's been a long time since we've had an opportunity to just think. 2012 started kind of a frenzy, and we've been fast and furious since 2012. So a lot of the agents that I'm speaking to are taking this time to really dive into command, figure out how to utilize technology in a whole new way. I think we're going to be forced to do some things that we never either never considered or never took the time to learn, whether it be virtual showings or virtual listing appointments. And as a result of that, I know at the market center level, we're figuring out some new options for processing commission checks and earnest money checks that, I'm sure they've always been there. We just really didn't have a reason to stop and figure out a new way to do it. And I think that when we come through this, our businesses are probably going to increase by 4 to 6 times just because of the efficiencies that we adapted because we were forced to.
Right. And I think also that, with regards to that, I'm also in a low inventory market with a pent up demand.
Mm-hmm.
However long it takes us to get through this, when this passes, we're going to get not maybe all, but the majority of that income that we lost during this time of nothing happening or slowing, depending on where you are. Those people are all going to be there when this stops, and they're going to be ready to go. And usually for most agents, fourth quarter, first quarter is when we're hungry, and that's when we're not making our money. I think we're going to see record-breaking fourth quarter sales because everybody's going to be ready to go. And I don't know if I was talking to you or somebody else earlier, but I was saying I think that we're really blessed that we're in real estate because although right now there might be, because all my pendings are at risk right now, I don't know when they're going to close. Those will come back, and all of our people who are ready, they will come back. The restaurants, the tourism industry, all of that money's just gone that they've lost. Right. So we're really lucky that we're in the real estate industry, that people still need to move, even more so now, because I've got 4 kids and I'm a single mom. I got a 6-bedroom house and I'm ready to buy a bigger house. I just think people who were maybe being real careful and maybe weren't stretching their budgets might be a little bit more willing to do that, to get into what they want. Like you were saying, they're now really thinking about what they want as opposed to what they've settled for.
Especially with these interest rates.
Ooh. Yeah, right. If they hold out now, right? Some of that money's a little bit gone, I think, but because we're seeing that here locally, that some rates that were 2.75, low 3s are now a little bit higher.
In our market center, actually at 2:00 today, in our internal page, I'm going to be interviewing one of our lenders because they're just seeing it just go crazy right now.
Yep.
And just kind of figuring out some best practices from the lender side. So interesting, you're a title state and you don't allow e-recording or any e-that's.
There's some e-recording, although all the offices are closed, but there's no e-notaries.
E-notaries, okay. Where are you, how long do you think the governor will allow that to stay on hold? Just out of curiosity, because for me,
I hope as long as he needs to. Okay. I'm okay with it being longer. This is a very, very scary thing. I'm young, I am healthy, my children are healthy, my parents at this time, thank God, don't live close by, so that my kids aren't like antsy to go over there and see them, so I don't have to keep them apart. But I'll tell you that this is not about keeping me and my children healthy. This is about everybody else. We have a social responsibility to each other to stay away from each other right now, because you don't know who's walking in the grocery store who's immunocompromised. You don't know who had a kidney transplant. You don't know who's a cancer recovery. You don't know who has Crohn's disease. You don't know whose kids have autism at home. You know, all of that, it passes so easily. My next door neighbor from across the yard yelled to us this morning that he's in a forced 2-week quarantine because he had direct contact with somebody who just tested positive.
Yeah.
You know, like, we are really staying away from each other, and this passes so easily and so quickly, and you don't even know it. So I feel great right now. In 2 weeks, I might be showing signs of this. And I'm now, if I am carrying, I'm passing it to everybody else. So even if I don't ever show signs of corona, it doesn't
What's the one?
I didn't get it or that I'm not a carrier. And I think that's the important message, is that it's not about us. And that, you know, I've seen a lot of talk on Facebook of realtors who are like, well, I have to support my family and my family. Your family is no more important than my family or that immunocompromised family. And that's what people really need to understand, is that we're all in this. We're all going to be poor together.
Right. Well, and I know that actually right now at 1:30, there's a class for on budgeting and how to maintain. I told the agents that if we're concerned, because I do look at it as a short-term thing, and actually I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a salon owner that's going to be potentially shutting down here. And she's like, I'm like, you know, if you're, the thing is you're lucky. You don't have to worry. You're going to be fine for a few months. It's the people that they're struggling. You know, they lived commission check to commission check or paycheck to paycheck. And those are the people that this is going to be a hard role for them. What is the one thing you wish, hindsight, right? Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yep.
You're in a position ahead of us. What is the one thing you wished you would have done to prepare your business for right this moment?
I wish I had gone through my bills sooner. We all have little things, the $15 a month Audible, the $15 Spotify, we actually had a long conversation last night about we have an ad spend for our Google AdWords and our Facebook advertising, all of that. We're going to pull all of that money and hoard some of it and redirect some of it also into other things. Like Zoom is $15 a month for the paid account. It's free for the regular account, but for $15 a month, if I can get people who could potentially be clients later on and I can build my community with that, that's money well spent. That's $15 a month into direct face-to-face, maybe not belly to belly right now, but face-to-face lead gen. Right. And that's what's important, is just go through your bills. Cut what you don't need right now. If you have a Netflix account, find a friend who also has a Netflix account, start sharing them, things like that. So it's those the gym memberships. Our gyms up here are all closed and they're still charging people the monthly fees, change your credit cards. You know, cancel those things. You're not going to the gym once this starts. Cancel it now. Yeah. So things like that, your life is going to change. Like, I only listen to Spotify when I'm in my car. I don't need to be in my car anymore. Let's cancel Spotify. We can renew it again when we're past this. Things like that.
Now's when they drop gas prices to under $2 when you can't drive anywhere.
Of course, right? So, but I mean, that's really what you do, is go through your bills for the last 3 months, because some things only get billed quarterly, or maybe a year, because some things have annual charges. Go through your bills line by line by line and see what the automatic deductions are that you don't even realize you have. You know, so what are those things? Because right now, to be honest with you, to spend money for us on ad spend, people aren't really looking at homes right now because we can't show them homes. So how am I trying to recruit that? I've got a pipeline. Those people will just shift in my pipeline for when this is over. So take those kind of things that you're spending money on and redirect it. You know, Ben Kinney said the other day on his he had a live stream, and he said people right now are either at home making babies or they're looking at real estate. So provide the content, but you can now get that content for free. So, use this as a time to show celebrity homes that have sold, do it as trivia, make sure people still know you're doing real estate. Just do it in a really compassionate way, because this is affecting people in a very real way. People are dying. So we have to be careful with the memes and the humor that we're using, because not everybody's going to see it as funny the way that we might if we're not affected by it.
Right. That's one of the things we talk about, is that there's a gamut of, this is a very big deal to this is a joke. And as real estate agents and community leaders, you can't participate. You've just got to be compassionate and caring and kind, like you had said. Stephanie, any thoughts, questions?
I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's just a time to come from contribution and to reach out to your past clients, make sure that they're okay, make sure that you're keeping people connected. As we've said several times, the human race was not meant for isolation. So make sure that you're connecting with people.
Call that person, that single person, whether they're elderly or they're young or in the middle of their life. Call that person. Call the mom or the dad who's maybe home alone, or even the married couples who the husband's a healthcare worker and, or the wife is a healthcare worker and the other spouse is home with the kids. I have 4 kids. I'll tell you, they're not very good company right now. Like, they're really not. So call, somebody calls me. I'm so happy to have an adult to speak to. It's really, it's the kind of thing that people are looking for connection because they're not getting it. Whatever that might be, everybody has somebody in their life who is alone. Reach out to that person.
Yeah.
I see that Ursula just posted that she's going to call her flight attendant friends.
Yeah. And you've got your wait staff. I mean, you guys still have the open restaurants, but I got to tell you, it's coming.
They're already starting to pull back on that.
Yeah, there is no piece of me that doesn't think this is going to spread nationwide. This is going to be everywhere. We're just a little bit ahead right now. So call your friends who work in restaurants. Call your friends who work in tourism. The flight attendants, the pilots, everybody. And not just the people who who put the bags on and off the planes. This is huge. There's no industry that's not going to be affected by this. I literally, usually when we call and I say, I'm going to do lead gen, I'm going to call my sphere, and I sit there and I go down my phone and I cherry pick who I want to call. The other day, I literally said an A and just called everybody who was an A. I know Bold has this D2.
The DPD too?
Yeah, I'm not doing that because I can't keep track. I don't have I'm being honest. I can't keep track. So, but, I literally called all the A's. Then the next day I called all the B's.
Yeah.
I get to S and it's a bigger list. Maybe it'll take me 2 days. But, and anybody who's reaching out, I don't know if anybody's been looking at my personal Facebook posts, and I've been putting it in my groups also. Like, if you're just lonely, if you're bored, if you're sick of your partner or your children, here's my phone number. Call me. And I'll tell you that I had probably 30 people call me from that post or reach out to me from that post. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm putting it out there so everybody knows I'm here. I am here. I'm open to have conversations. We can talk about whatever you want. I'm not going to talk to you about real estate unless they bring it up, but I will tell you that every single one of them has brought it up and asked me how I'm doing, because I'm in the same boat as everyone else. And I think what's important also for people to understand is that, because a lot of people who I see giving these Zoom chats and doing these kind of things, that when it happens in your city, in your town, you're not alone. Like, all of us, I am also worried about how I'm going to pay my mortgage. Like, I had somebody say to me on a post that I made today, they said, well, you're not worried, you're rich. I'm a single mom of 4 kids who's supporting my kids 100% alone. I am far from rich. I am worried about my mortgage payment as much as anybody else is at this point. Right. And I also know that I'm with a lot of people who are in the exact same situation. And there's going to be, they just announced you can waive your mortgage payments. If you call your mortgage company, they will postpone them for you. Don't just sit and wait for it to happen. Be proactive, make those phone calls, and just remember you're not alone and that you're not the only one going through this. I think it's not just about you right now. It's everybody in all industries. And as realtors, I really believe we're lucky, because I think at the end of this, we're going to come out ahead of a lot of other industries.
Right. And Ursula just stated that to please let people know they can also pause their student loans.
Yep.
And I think that there, the saying is pride cometh before the fall. This is not a time to be prideful.
Right. Listen, when the governor announced it last night, I've got kids in private school. First email I sent was to my kids' private school, and I said, Governor just halted all real estate transactions for the foreseeable future. I have no idea how or when I'm going to be able to make that next tuition payment, because I'm still paying tuition even though the kids aren't in school, right? I said, I just don't know what to tell you. What do you suggest I do? Because when I reached out to them and they reached back out to me and they said, we'll deal with it as it happens. So, but be proactive. Don't make them chase you. Like those calls.
Communication is key.
Over communication.
Other than prayers, Beth, what do you need? What do you need from us?
I need all of you in Atlanta to stay the fuck at home.
You just had to get one in, didn't you?
Yeah,
No, it's true.
There's a
It's
donation.
true. You guys are expanding this problem for the entire nation. The sooner all of us stay home, the sooner we can all go back outside and we can all make money again. And we can go back to life as normal.
Flatten the curve.
A couple of states doing it. It's spreading and nobody is immune to this. Don't think that even because you live in a cabin in the woods that you're not going to, that it's not going to come near you, because eventually you got to re-enter society. And you'll get it then. It's not going to go away as we start to go back to normal. It's just going to slow down. The faster we all mobilize and stay home, the faster it's going to get better for all of us. That's really the message I wish the country would understand, is that we're doing this state by state. I wish we would just do it nationally and bite the bullet, but I call it ping pong balls. People need time to get their heads around it, right? Which is why they're doing one thing at a time. They're not just putting us all under house arrest. We're not going right to shelter in place. It's little things, one day, this is what you can handle. This is what you can handle. This is what you can handle. It's kind of how I got through my divorce too. I just threw in ping pong balls until I was out the door, right? So, but that's what we need to do, is we need people to take this seriously. We need them to understand that just because you're healthy and your children are young, or you're in the right age group, that you're okay. Because I will tell you that the largest amount of deaths in Montgomery County has been in the 20 to 53-year-olds category. It hasn't been the over 65. It's been 20 to 53-year-olds. So it's coming, and it's coming on strong. And I don't know if any of you know Gina Tofano, who's up in Virginia. She's a KW realtor in Virginia. She's in the hospital right now waiting for her test to come back. She's young. We're all praying for everybody, but we need to do our part. We need more than hopes and prayers. This is just a one-off. This is real. And we need Atlanta to cooperate. We need, all the states to cooperate. Realtors, we are on the front lines with talking to people. This is our chance to use our influence and to be confident in what we're saying, and be okay giving away a little bit of money if that's what it takes. I had a client who texted me this morning. She said, I need to know when we can go out to homes again. And I said, Miss George, we're not going out to homes again. If you want me to find your realtor who's not as smart as I am, I'll be happy to refer you to somebody else who's happy to show you homes. It's not going to be me. And if I lose that client,